Some Pokémon need no introduction whatsoever, and I think this is one of them, so let us now run Charizard. Can you believe it's been 2.5 years since we first ran Charizard together here on the channel? Really, where does the time go? I genuinely thought it was only about 12 to 18 months ago that we first ran Charizard together here on the channel, but nope, it was April 2023. I tell you what, an awful lot has changed since then. I've become a significantly better player, especially at first impression runs. The rule set has been overhauled and we've been through about 20 different routings in that time as well, but some things always stay the same, and we'll start off by taking a look at our stats. And so we are starting at level 5 with 24 HP, holding a berry with Scratch, Growl, Ember and Smokescreen, 14 in attack and defense, 17 in special attack, 15 in special defense and 16 in speed. And with that, we are almost ready to hand over to the live run to see how Charizard fares. Now, it's well overdue time for us to redo the Kanto starters. It's been about 30 months since we did them, and I'd like to think I've got a lot better in that time. I don't think any of them is going to prove to be particularly problematic either, especially because we are starting fully evolved this time. Last time, of course, we did go all the way through the evolution stages. Once again, as is standard on the channel these days, Unbound rules are in effect, so that means we can use rare candies whenever the heck we like. We also have nothing banned at red, barring my own personal little rule that I will try and avoid rest talk as much as possible. And I've actually had a couple of people ask why I single out rest talk, and it's simply because it's all down to RNG if you use rest talk. You get multiple health bars by the fact that you can sleep, and then you're just hoping that Sleep Talk picks the correct move. It feels more luck than even things like Double Team, and I actually think it is the whole having multiple health bars, your HP and defensive stats mean less, that really does put me off it. I have only ever done it once in a challenge, and that was the very first Ursaring video, and as we've seen, it didn't end up being the optimal strategy even then. So we'll try and avoid rest talk at all costs. It is something that we may have to do from time to time, especially with some of the worst Pokémon. But for now, my focus is primarily on getting some very good times. I feel like I'm playing the best I have in many, many months. So I kind of want to ride that wave until I start playing badly again, which will happen, to take advantage of it and do a lot of the Pokémon who could end up with especially sub 120 times. It used to be sub 130 that I was happy with, and now it's sub 120. We've lost a whole 10 minutes from what makes me feel good. For instance, sub hour Claire used to feel good as well. Now I think sub 55 Claire's good, sub 50's very good, but sub 40 Claire is what I'm aiming for at some point. Don't think it'll happen anytime soon, but that is the target. Coming up as well, we do have some Pokémon who I think could get very close to sub 40 Claire, as long as we play it right. But that's enough waffling for now. Should we meet back up when it's time for Falkner? Now, normally running a fire type, I'd be yabbering on about how Mud Slap is dangerous, but with a flying type, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's take Falkner on. It's going to be Tackle and Gust City from him, probably a 2-shot on the Pidgeotto, maybe a 3-shot. It was just about a 2-shot. A very, very nice battle to get us started. 4 minutes and 1 second for the Zephyr badge. And I don't think things are going to get much harder either now, because we're going to be heading towards the next gym, and that next gym is, of course, a Bug-type gym. Feel very sorry for Bugsy, but then you never know. Whitney might be our Achilles heel in this run. Got quite a ways to go until we get to Whitney though, so we'll deposit the egg, and I'll start making my way through Union Cave when we'll catch our first HM friend. And now going through the cave, there weren't too many trainers that were suitable to be taken on, so I just took on the guy with the coughing and the fire breather with the Vulpix. They gave us a little bit of experience, and now we can already name Kenya. That was a very quick encounter. The timer is of course paused for the HM friends. So that's Kenya all caught. Let's move on into Ilex Forest, where we'll catch Psyduck and Paris. And so once again the timer gets paused for the HM friend encounters. And normally I mention that it's kind of unfair that some Pokemon take a very long time to show up. It's the opposite in this one. It would have been incredibly overly unfair on Charizard for getting quick encounters if we didn't pause the timer. So pausing the timer does level the playing field every single time. Let's get these HM friends into a sensible order, and I will now carry on through Slowpoke. Well, if my controller won't lead me all upwards, I'm not sure what happened there. I might have to take a break in recording to figure out why my controller keeps pressing up. But I tell you what, I'll get that sorted, and we'll go into Bugsy's gym. You know this U controller I've been whittering on about constantly for the last few runs, saying my movement will get better. Turns out the controller's not that good. So I'm back on the backup controller, let's take on Bugsy. It'll take me a couple of moments to get used to the D-pad on the old controller again, but at least this one puts the correct inputs in. 2 one-shots to get us started here. Let's move on to Scyther. It's going to be a 2-shot. We'll take a whole tiny bit of damage as well. And we're through Bugsy in 8 minutes and 34 seconds. We can't celebrate for too long though. We've got the dreaded Rival 2 just around the corner. And it bites me in the bum so many times, but I'm not healing for this. I don't think we need to. Let's start off with an Ember on the Ghastly as we grow up to level 20. Rage. Ooh, I do like Rage. In fact, let's try Rage strats on the Croconaw. Because we do have the Berry. There we go. And how much does Rage do against the Zubat? Not quite as much as I'd hoped. But we do get through. First try, Rival 2 with a starter type is never a bad thing. Admittedly, it is easier for the fire starters and the water starters, but I'm still going to be happy with it. Let's now move through the forest, where we're going to get Cut and Headbutt. And now that we have earned Cut, I've actually got a little question for you all. I think I mentioned it the other day, that I don't think there's a single Pokemon I would ever run where I would teach Cut. Can any of you think of a Pokemon where Cut would be a viable strategy? Because I can't think of any. It's base 50 power, 95% accurate. I just don't think there's ever a situation where there won't be a better move, even if that better move's lower powered return. So if you can think of one, please do let me know, because I'd be interested to run it that way. Anyway, now we have Headbutt. I have taught it to Charizard in place of Scratch. We've got our couple of Ethers, and now we can expel the Restless Repel. And we'll catch our final HM friend in the form of Abra. So once again, a guaranteed encounter for the Abra. We will throw the Pokeball, it's a guaranteed catch. And that's the HM friends complete for another challenge. Off to Goldenrod we go. And the first thing we're going to do in Goldenrod today is go up to the department store. We're not quite happy enough for return yet, but we can get a Fire Punch TM. So next time we menu, we shall teach that to our Charizard. And that menuing happens to be right now because we are going to be teaching, or not teaching I should say, we are going to be registering the bike. So we'll get an upgrade to our Fire type move alongside an upgrade to our normal type move. That is incredibly positive, and now we can start heading towards National Park. And there is no need for the Quick Claw today. Base 100 speed is more than fast enough for everybody we're going to be coming up against, so it is literally just a trip to get ourselves Dig. We'll teach that to our Paris, and now I'll take on a couple more trainers, and we can think about Whitney. So with Dig on Paris and level 24 acquired, we can head into our third gym together. This is of course Whitney's normal type gym. She only has one mandatory trainer, it is last carry with her Snubble. And we're going to be able to two-shot the Snubble. Now, I am very quickly going to use an Ether here. Just to get Headbutt back up to full strength. I fancy playing this one a little bit risky. I fancy going for Rage strats and hoping the Clefairy double slaps. Perish Song, we take a reset. We take a reset. We're not doing Rage strats. We're doing Headbutt for the Clefairy, Fish for the flinch. There we go. Get Whitney locked into rollout. We're leaving. She's got a Pokemon that loves to sing, and we don't want to be knocked out in 3 turns every go. So let's leave, pretend that battle never happened, and we'll move on with our lives and head towards Ecruteak. And now that we're in Ecruteak, we're instantly going to leave Ecruteak. We are doing safe Ecruteak today. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's a very, very brief time loss to potentially save a lot of time later in the challenge. I'm very annoyed we've been caught by Beauty Olivia here with her Corsola. I'm very glad though that Corsola only has Bubble. So Safe Ecruteak is a strategy that Snowy and I have developed where you bypass everything in Ecruteak to go and do Lighthouse first, followed by the Kimono Girls later on. This gives you some extra levels. It also gives you access to the Minceberry and the Nugget earlier on. And it also means you have things like Strength that you can teach early as well. And it's turned out to be a very reliable little system because instead of having your TP spot set to Ecruteak like we used to do when we did early Lighthouse, having your TP spot set here then means you can travel quite some ways back after you've picked up Hidden Power from the Lake of Rage if you need it. So overall, it's proved to be quite a nice little strategy. And these are the things now that we're having to come up with to save time. These tiny little tweaks in routing are what is going to make the difference for our lower average time these days. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get up the lighthouse and let's chat with Jazz. And now that we're at the very tippy top of the lighthouse, we will have a little chat with Jazz. We will fall through a floor to pick up the rare candy that's hiding here at the lighthouse. And we will dig out. We will go and do our heal here in Olivine City. And then it'll be a quick cycle back into Ecruteak, where we'll take on Rival 3, Morty, and the Kimono Girls. And so our first destination in Olivine is going to be the Burnt Tower. Rival 3 is probably going to be a bit of a joke at this point, so I'm not expecting anything too difficult, so let's take him on. He is going to lead with Haunter, so we are going to start off ourselves with a Fire Punch. We'll knock it out in one, and up second is Croconaw. We've got Headbutt for Croconaw, should probably teach Strength when we next menu as well. Get rid of Rage. I think Rage has served its purpose. I'm not quite sure why I'm holding on to Smokescreen. It might have a use case later on. But for now, we don't really need anything in that slot. We will fall through the floor. We'll release the beasts. And I tell you what, while it's fresh in my mind, let us teach Strength to our Charizard. And so now it is time for our fourth gym leader together. This is, of course, Morty. He is the dual Ghost and Poison type Spectacular gym leader, and he leads with Ghastly. We're holding the Minceberry here just to be safe against the Gengar here. And it didn't matter because Hypnosis missed. That does mean we get to save the Minceberry for another battle. But it is always better to be safe than sorry. Fog Badge acquired in 21 minutes and 7 seconds. We'll now leave here and we'll take on Kimono Girls. And so let's see how we get on against what in theory should be our hardest Kimono Girl, but in practice doesn't seem to be that bad. A couple of headbutts takes care of the Vaporeon. That lets us get Surf, and now we'll teach that to Psyduck when it's time to cross the open seas. But for now we're going to continue heading east, because I want to go to the Lake of Rage, I want to get a couple of extra levels, and I also want to get Hidden Power and the Rare Candy. And so here at the lake, we're going to go through the cup maze, if we're being generous and calling it a maze. We'll grab the Rare Candy. We will skip that Elixir because it is a bait Elixir. There are far better ones to pick up. However, we will get the Detect TM. It's right here. We have to cut that tree anyway. And it is good money for buying vitamins later on. We're not going to teach Hidden Power straight away. Instead, we are going to go all the way back to Olivine City now, where we're going to cross over to Cinewood, and we'll see who we take on next. We are going to grab the secret potion from the man in the dodgy shop, and now we will go into Chuck's gym. Not 100% sold on facing Chuck next, but we are going to grow to level 34 in a moment, and we're going to get Wing Attack, and that might mean that we can take on Chuck pre-Jasmine. And we've been frozen. How utterly rude. We never get frozen. We're going to take a reset here. Talk about bad luck and a half. We'll headbutt this Hitmonchan. We'll flinch it. I can't believe we got frozen. What is the RNG in this one? We've had Perish Song. We've been frozen. What's next? You know what, we are going to take on Jasmine next. After that kind of RNG, I do not trust the game. I will take the 10-second time loss to take on Jasmine before we take on Chuck. So Jasmine is our 5th gym leader together today. Steel type specialist leads with Magnemite, but it doesn't really matter what she leads with. They're all going down in exactly the same way. 3 one-shots, growing up to level 35. And that's the mineral badge in 26 minutes and 9 seconds. Let's now get ourselves back to Cyanwood. And now let's take on Chuck, our 6th gym leader together. He is a fighting type specialist, but his ace is a water type. He's going to lead with Primeape. We can flamethrower the Primeape. Oh, just 1 bit of experience off having Wing Attack. How incredibly rude of the game. It's fine though, we get through regardless. Mint Berry kicked in, and we learn Wing Attack, and that is the Storm Badge in 27 minutes and 13 seconds. Now that we've got the Storm Badge, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do, so we'll meet back up for the lake. So let's take on the Red Gyarados. I'm not expecting any issues with the Gyarados, but you never know. Let us just spam Headbutt, I think. 1 turn of Dragon Rage is all the damage we took there, which is still more damage than I think we would have taken if the Gyarados did anything else. We'll chat with Lance and we'll make our way back to Mahogany to take on Price. And now that we are in Price's gym, let's take him on. He is the Ice-type specialist of Mahogany Town, and he leads with Seal. We'll use Wing Attack against the Seal, we'll knock it out in 1. I think we'll fish for a flinch against the Dugong. We don't get it, but we don't get the attack drop. And then we know that we can one-shot the Piloswine with a Flamethrower, growing up to level 40. And we obtain the Glacier Badge in 33 minutes and 3 seconds. That's 7 gym badges acquired. It's my cue to go through the Ice Path. We're going to get into Blackthorn and we're going to say goodbye to Strength. So here in Blackthorn, it's a trip into the Move Deleter's house, where we are going to lose Strength in favour of Return a little bit later on. And now that we've done that, we can get ourselves back over to Goldenrod City. I'll do the Vitamin Shop, and then we'll take on Rival 4. And we have made it into the underground of the Goldenrod department store, where we'll take on the Rival for a 4th and penultimate time. This time he leads with Golbat. We'll secure the one-shot by using Hidden Power Ice, and we are on to Feraligatr. Ooh, what should we do? Should we try a Flamethrower? That did a lot more than I was expecting. Double crit there. 1 for us, 1 for him, and we crit with the Hidden Power. Now we're going to have to use Flamethrower against the Magnemite. Let us use Hidden Power against the Haunter. And then we've got Sneasel, and let's use one of our last Flamethrowers against that. Easy Rival 4, no shenanigans there. 38-33. Let's move on to Blackthorn City. And so let's take on Claire. She is our final Jotonian gym leader. She's a Dragon-type specialist who leads with Dragonair. We're going to get one-shots on all these Dragonair courtesy of Hidden Power Ice, and then we'll be able to turn our attention over to the Kingdra. Now, I'm not 100% sure how we're going to get through this Kingdra. Maybe try, you know, a pair of Wing Attacks. Surf's going to do a lot of damage with a crit, but not enough to knock us out. That means we get through Claire on our first try with no Sunny Day shenanigans. Let us now claim our badge. And after answering 11212 with the questionnaire, Claire enters into the Dragon's Den, and she gives us our next badge, the Rising Badge, in 45 minutes and 10 seconds. That is a very good time indeed. Let us leave here now and start heading towards the League. And we find ourselves in front of the Rival for one final time. This time he's going to lead, of course, with Sneasel. So we'll use a Wing Attack against Sneasel, we'll knock it out in 1, and his second Pokemon is Feraligatr. Let's try a Headbutt this time against Feraligatr, as Water Gun does next to nothing. We get the flinch, and we knock it out. Onto Golbat we go. We'll use a Hidden Power against the Golbat, secure the one-shot there. We've got Flamethrower for the Magneton, and that will bring us nicely onto Haunter. We'll continue Flamethrowering the Haunter, and then why not Flamethrower the Kadabra as well. Final rival battle done in 48 minutes and 17 seconds. Let's get ourselves ready for the Pokemon League. And so into the League we go, and our first League member is Will. He is, of course, a Psychic-type specialist who leads with Xatu. We'll use Hidden Power against the Xatu, we'll knock it out in 1. We don't have anything great, however, for the Slowbro. So we're just going to spam return and hope it doesn't attack us, which is exactly what it's done. We can use hidden power on the second Xatu, that's no issue whatsoever as we grow up to level 52. We will use a flamethrower on the Executor, make sure it goes down in 1. And then we can just return the Jinx. And that's Will defeated. 49 minutes and 6 seconds. Second on the chopping block is Koga. He is a poison type specialist, but he's got a bit of a polish on for the bug type as well. And he leads with Ariados. We've got Wing Attack for the Ariados, it'll go down in 1. And we are on to Muck. I reckon Flamethrower is the order of business for Muck as it minimalises. And we've been toxicked. Oh no. Let us hidden power this Golbat, hope it's a one-shot, which it isn't. He's going to Healing Loop, he's going to try and stall us. We've just got to hope that we can hit another hidden power, which is exactly what we've done. The rest of the battle should be free now, because we can Wing Attack the Venomoth, and then we will Flamethrower the Fortress. Even that Protect is fairly meaningless there. We knock it out in an unnecessary crit, and we are through Koga. Time of 49 minutes and 54 seconds. Third up is going to be Bruno. Bruno is a fighting type specialist who's going to lead with Hitmontop. And because we've got Stab flying, it's a one-shot on the Hitmontop with Wing Attack. We've also got Hidden Power and decent special attacks so we can get rid of the Onyx. And then we're just going to continue Wing Attacking now. We might take a bit of damage off this Machamp, depending on whether we range it, which we don't. The rest of the battle is now incredibly free. Bruno done, first time, 37 seconds, 15 minutes 32 overall. And the prep work for Karen is now done, so we can take her on. She is a Dark type specialist who leads with Umbreon. I have put Headbutt back on the learn set, and I misclicked there. I was hoping to get a flinch off on the Umbreon. We were holding the Bitterberry hoping she'd go for the Confuse Ray, so we are not needing to worry about lowered accuracy for the rest of this battle now. We can one-shot the Gengar with Flamethrower, we'll one-shot the Murkrow with Flamethrower as well, and then for the Houndoom we'll just use I was going to say a pair of returns, but we crit, even better. Flamethrower on the Vileplume, we knock it out, and we are through Karen first try, 51-39. Let us give Lance a go. He is, of course, the liar with the flyers, and he's going to lead with Gyarados. We've got return for the Gyarados. Hopefully it'll do over half. He's gone for Rain Dance. He's not gone for an attacking move. We grow to 55, and out comes Dragonite number 1. We've got Hidden Power, so we know we can get rid of it in one shot. We've got oodles of special attack behind us, so this was never going to be a risky battle. We also outspeed the Aerodactyl, so we don't need to worry about that. Charizard comes out to play, we'll fish for a flinch here. We don't get it, but Hyper Beam does literally nothing. Well, it doesn't do literally nothing at all, it does metaphorically nothing at all. It was meaningless to change the course of this battle, and that gives us a nice defeat on Lance in 52 minutes and 56 seconds. Overall, a bit of duff RNG throughout the course of this challenge. Perish Tongan getting frozen, causing our 2 resets. Let's see what our Hall of Fame time is for this one. 52.42 through the Hall of Fame. That is a fairly good time. Let's see where it puts us on the midpoint leaderboard. On the Unbound leaderboard, we are in 4th place in between Ursaring and Feraligatr, and on the All Videos leaderboard, we are in 14th place. So overall, we're doing very well for ourselves so far. Don't forget though, this is only half the story. There's another 8 gym badges plus the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we'll do is grab the rare candy from the chairman of the Pokémon fan club. And with that safely tucked away in our bag for yet another challenge, I am more than pleased to announce that Charizard is definitely capable of taking on our standard Cantonian routing. That means we're going to start here at Lieutenant Surge in Vermilion City. We will cross over to Celadon City for Erica, down to Fuchsia City via Cycling Road for Janine, then it's back to Saffron City for Sabrina, up to Cerulean City for Misty, across to Pewter City for Brock, down to the Seafoam Islands for Blaine, and then we shall finish off in Viridian City with Blue. And now talking of Blue, if you do want to skip the Cantonian Gauntlet and get straight to the Blue fight, it's going to be happening at around about 27 minutes and 46 seconds. For everybody else though, we are now going to sit back, we'll relax, and we shall have our standard Cantonian chat. And now in this one, I don't want to go all motivational speaker on you all, but I had a lovely message from someone who will remain anonymous, asking how to get into challenge running, and how to get over that fear of you're not going to be good enough, you're not going to set great times, you're just going to be lagging behind everybody else. I was actually fairly late into the challenge run scene myself, coming in 2022. The formula had definitely found its roots by then, and I was not the best of runners back in 2022. I did a fair amount of practice before creating content, but I was still fairly amateur. Even today I think there is a lot of improvement I could do with my runs, especially because I do first impressions. But the best advice I can give is to just go for it. Find a Pokemon you want to run, even download the challenge run patch if you don't have access to any of the third-party tools. Set your starter, set your hidden power type, and just give it a go. Don't time your first few runs either, that is a big mistake I made. My first run I think was in the 4 hours, my second run was in the 6 hours. On my third run I think I ran out of hard drive space, it was so long. So don't even bother timing them, just get yourselves familiar with the routing. I did put up a video quite a while ago doing a big tutorial of how I challenge run Pokemon Crystal. Some things have changed since then, I've made a few tweaks to my own personal routing. But after that, my best piece of advice is to make the game your own. Don't worry about people telling you you're doing things right or wrong. As long as you feel good about the way you're playing, then you are playing absolutely right. And practice will get those times down. You'll get the muscle memory, you will get that whole recall memory of exactly what Pokemon is on each trainer, you'll know exactly who you want to face for each individual run, and the instincts will start to kick in. And once you get that instinct, the game really opens up. I think if you look at my old runs, it was around about the Furret run. Towards the end of 2022, that is when I started to become incredibly comfortable playing Pokemon Crystal. That's when I was thinking, yep, I'm a pretty good runner at this point. Let us start getting the leaderboard times even better than they were. And the only other piece of advice I can give is get a turbo button. My thumb was in agony by the middle of October 2022, to the point where I probably would have needed surgery if I'd have kept mashing much longer. So I invested in a controller that had a turbo button functionality, and I have not looked back. So please do look after your own body. You wouldn't think a challenge running related injury was possible, but even now my thumb is sore after a few runs, so please do be careful. But we're out of time, let's hand back to the run. We have made it to Blue for another challenge. He is our final gym leader of the challenge. He is of course a mixed type specialist who's going to lead with Pidgeot. We've got hidden power for the Pidgeot, and it's a one-shot courtesy of the Never Melt Ice. We're also able to one-shot Rhydon, another particularly scary Pokemon. Now, we don't have anything great for the Gyarados, so we are probably going to end up taking quite a strong hit here from Hydro Pump. But it looks like we are just about okay, although we might need to try and avoid the healing loop, which I don't think we're able to do. But we get lucky here. Hydro Pump has missed a couple of times. We're not in the clear completely yet, but we could still potentially make something of this one. Ooh, now that could be bad. We get knocked out. I tell you what, I'm going to grab a couple of levels, and now I'm just going to dump the rest of these in. Get us up to 70. Blue, we're back. Did you miss us? Let's try that again, shall we? I'm hoping that return will now be a two-shot on the Gyarados. That would be the most ideal situation. Oh yeah, comfortably a two-shot now. Absolutely fantastic. How much does Earthquake do? Now it's a one-shot. Teeny tiny bit of short-term pain seems to have made for some long-term gain here. As we obtain the Earth Badge in 107.25, let's now rush ourselves to Silver Cave, where it will be time to take on Red. And so we have our final learn set. We have a hope, we have a dream. Let's take on Red. He is our final trainer of the challenge. He is, of course, a mixed type specialist who led with Pikachu that's already gone down. I put Sunny Day on so we can do the Sunny Day shuffle against the Charizard here. I did also put Dynamic Punch on in case we wanted to play a little bit risky. Because it could come in handy, you know. Let us use Return against the Blastoise. We knock it out now. On to the Peskeon. Flamethrower does a fair amount of damage. It's not quite enough to one-shot. But that brings us on to Snorlax. I think I'm going to try and confuse this Snorlax as well. And it hits itself in confusion. That's a very good start. Let's set up the sun. Amnesia's not great. So we're just going to have to hit with another Dynamic Punch. Please don't paralyze. Body Slam has not paralyzed. We're able to finish it off with a Return. That brings us on to his Charizard. We're going to use Return against it. It's going to Flamethrower. It can't burn. It can't really do much at all. So it's just going to be a bit of a time sink. The sunlight has faded. That brings us on to Venusaur. It's either going to be a 1 or 2 shot, but it is now all over for Red. We knock it out and we defeat Red in a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes and 56 seconds. Let's take a look at the final leaderboard for this challenge. And we are in 4th place on our Unbound leaderboard, just ahead of Dragonite and just behind Ursaring. And then if we look at the overall run leaderboard, we are in 14th place, slightly ahead of the Girafarig Redo and slightly behind Ursaring. And now we have made it to the end of another challenge. So now as the leaderboard plays out in full behind us, if you have enjoyed this one, please do make sure to leave a like. You can click subscribe if you want to see more runs just like this. If you want to get early access to the runs, you can join the channel membership and become a HM friend. But with that, we are done. So until next time when we're running Venusaur through the Unbound challenge, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will catch you all very, very soon.